Hi, my name is Morgan Gluing.
And I'm Austin Riley. You are listening to Accessible Airwaves
On CJSW 9.9 FM.
This program is dedicated
to the education and exploration of disabled life,
giving voice to the life and experience of people with disabilities.
We cover a wide array of issues and disabilities.
We are people who discuss issues we are passionate about
and topics we are interested in.
We show how disability is in the mind of the beholder.
Today, we are talking to
Andile, an early childhood educator and the founder of BU Kids.
BU Kids is Canadian-based
multicultural children's store specializing in inclusive dolls, books, and educational tools.
BU Kids aims to provide toys
that represent diverse cultures, skin tones, and abilities, fostering self-worth and representation in children's play.
Welcome to the show. And today,
can you tell us about yourself and how it led to where you are today?
I started off as a nanny, and I worked with a child with autism, and I wanted to do social work. But my boss, she said to me, she's like, you are not a social work lady, because she knew that my emotions, like I couldn't handle social work. And she said that I worked best with children. So I did nannying for about 5 years. And then my uncle, he just decided to pay for my college. And then I did early childhood education. And yeah, it's been my bliss. I've always worked with children with exceptionalities, even though I am trained to work as a room teacher. And I remember there was a time when I started working officially in a professional setting with children with exceptionalities. And I was reading this child's file, and my womb leapt, as if joy. So I believe that I don't have children yet, but I do believe that one of my children will have exceptionalities. And I believe that if you're a person of faith, I believe that God has been leading me in this field to prepare for this special person that might come in the future. So yeah, a bit about me. Would you like to know more? As in, I do have a business that is geared towards inclusion, so BU Kids, and I sell toys for children of all abilities and ethnicities.
Wow. What is the story behind BU Kids?
So I was shopping for my niece. She was interested in dolls. And as a family, we decided that we were going to find a doll for her that looked just like her. And we couldn't find any. So it took me a few months to finally find a brown baby doll. And it was at the bottom of the shelf on sale. And then I looked at the shelves again, and I realized that there were no toys for Indigenous children, Asian children. So I decided to open a toy store where Canadian parents could shop and not worry about the shipping costs. And doing the research for them, like doing all the work for them and just creating a space where they're able to find all these inclusive toys. Eventually, like it started off as, at the time, all I could afford, because remember, I worked in daycares, and so I didn't have like a whole lot of money. So it started off as I had only African dolls and one red hair doll. And then eventually I started getting dolls that had Down syndrome features. And then I started getting accessories that have wheelchairs. And it's honestly because my world, as I mentioned before, I always work with children that have exceptionalities. So I was recognizing that some of the children that were in my care, like children of color, they didn't have toys. But I did want to include children that didn't have, like children that have disabilities as well in that space.
That's very, very cool.
Where is Be You Kids based, and how long have you been running it?
It's based in Canada. I mean, it's online. I live in Edmonton, and I've also lived in Yellowknife. But because it's on an online space, I feel like it's available to all Canadians. And I have had the business since COVID. So since March 20, was it 2020 or 2021? My business is going to be 5 years this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
What kind of bucket do you have?
I have dolls that have all skin tones in Canada, all eye shapes and hair textures. You see, like my hair right now. I know, like for people listening, they can't see my hair, but I have an afro. So a lot of dolls, even if they had dark skin, they wouldn't have typically like afro hair. So the dolls that I sell were the first in the world to have like the African texture hair. I sell dolls that have Down syndrome features, vitiligo, and albinism. And then I have in my store like doll accessories like wheelchairs and books and other toys that are there, like tea sets and other, like most of the products have paintings of children, people of color. Like I know there was one that had, when Prince Harry married Meghan Markle, they created the first tea set that had an interracial couple. So like it had a white prince with an African princess. And that was the first ever made in the whole world. And it was dedicated to Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's wedding.
Wow.
Yeah.
What has been the most challenging thing about running Be You Kids, and how did you overcome it?
So I come from being a nanny, and I decided to start a business, and the next few months I was on TV. So the most challenging part is I had never run a business before. So I was learning along the way. And the challenging part would be, as an early childhood worker, I had to use the few pennies, the money that I have. I had to use it to buy products. So that was difficult at the beginning.
Do you have any advice for others who are starting their own business?
Just do it. Yeah, just do it, because I started during COVID. I used my CERB money and I didn't have any expertise, but I had the heart for Canada, for children. And because I had that passion, the rest came, like the press, the customers, everything just came along the way. But if you don't start, you will never know how far you can go.
I agree with you. I love the advice. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Here I go. Do you have any employees?
No, I don't have any employees yet. I would love in the future to have a business where I can help people come to Canada, like through BU Kids helping other families who want to come to Canada to come through working for my business. And also, I would like to have people who have exceptionalities as part of my team because I feel like they would know more about what children with exceptionalities need. I know one woman that I in my life, she has exceptionalities as well, and she was telling me that when she was growing up, she didn't have certain resources. So she was guiding me on how to talk to children, even like, like during hospital visits. She expressed to me what she would have needed if growing up, what she would have wanted adults to say to her during like surgeries and things like that. So I would love my business in the future to be able to have a big team that is inclusive.
Yeah. And as a gay person, I have a disability too as well. I have a Down syndrome woman here. So yeah.
What kind of skills and strengths that you have developed through building this business?
The skills that you need, you learn how to do taxes on your own. You learn how to do bookkeeping because paying people to do all of these things is very expensive. You have to learn social media, networking, like going to events, talking to other business owners, and even just sitting in your house brainstorming ways to sell more dolls. So, like, whether you're going to talk to shop owners or like just trying to figure out how you can sell your products, like where you can do it. And I've had to even take courses because I realized as years moved on that I couldn't use the excuse anymore that, oh, it's because I used to be a nanny and then I worked in a daycare. So it's like, okay, I did all of those things, but I also have to sometimes take a 3-month course on learning a new skill. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Can you tell us the process of making the dolls?
So I don't make the dolls. Many people think I do make the dolls, but they are made in Europe. They're handmade and hand painted. So all their freckles are unique to that doll. No doll looks the same when they're hand painted. And they're all safe. Like they've all been tested and they're good to be sold in Canada and they don't have any toxic products in them.
Why is it so important to have dolls of different representations?
So, in early childhood education, the doll is the most important toy because it's the one that looks the most like people. It's the one that represents people. Children learn how to be taken care of and how to care for others through playing with dolls. And they learn how to love themselves through looking at a doll that looks like them. They learn to accept themselves. And they also need dolls that don't look like them, like dolls that look like other people, like around the world. So that's the reason why a lot of the dolls I have different skin tones, because children learn to accept that everybody is different. But even though everyone is different, everybody is still a person and everybody deserves to be loved, cared for, and respected. So that is the reason why dolls are important for children.
Definitely. I do playgrounds too. What reaction do you get from the community about you kids?
I was not expecting Canada to embrace my business the way that they did. So when I opened my business, Canada was like the whole country was so curious about my products. And so it's always been positive. And ever since I spoke to the Prep Society when I did the donations, I've had a lot of people who work within the field where people have Down syndrome. They have been messaging me so much, and I'm grateful that they feel seen through my business. And I'm hoping that I could change the way that Canada accepts people and make it like includes people and just make it normal in society instead of like othering other people, because it's as a person of color, I know what that's like to have people my hair, sometimes people don't treat it like it's normal. It's normal for me, but sometimes people don't treat it that way because it doesn't look like typical hair texture or my skin color. So I just hope that every single person in Canada feels included and knows that they are part of the world, and that no matter what they look like or any ability that they might have or not have, they are normal in this world and they deserve to be loved and seen.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
What are your plans or future goals for BU Kids?
Right now, I'm working on. I want to create a nanny service in Alberta, and even like events nanny. So I've been taking a course in my own time on how that would look like. And I would love to have a physical store, and even having my dolls in Walmart. That is my dream. It takes a lot of work to do that. So
What is your website and social media?
So my social media is on Instagram. I'm BU Kids. So, and then my website is BEEYOUKIDS.ca. Oh, and I'm also, my products, some of them are sold at the Autism Center in Edmonton. I have some dolls there too.
That's awesome.
Is there anything else you would like to add?
I'm just grateful to have been invited onto the show, and I'm grateful for every email that I've ever received from Canadians who feel included and seen through this business. And it's become bigger than what I ever envisioned. And I hope that it will create a movement in Canada and that it will last even when I'm gone.
I like this.
Thank you for coming to our show.
Thank you for having me. I feel so blessed.
You're welcome.
Thank you for listening to Accessible Airwaves
On CJSW 9.9 FM.